All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to wasmCloud Wednesday on August 24th. We have a pretty exciting day of demos and chatting ahead of us. So let's go ahead and get started. First off, we have Jordan demoing some of his, without spoiling too much, exploratory work with using Go with wasmCloud.
I like exploratory. That gives me an excuse if it breaks. Um, let's see, is that sharing? Sweet. So, yeah, no, I've been playing around with Go a lot because Rust is too hard. And, I'm having a little bit of success and I just wanted to share it. And, one of the things I wanted to share is, this echo actor, right, that we've all seen a million times. Um, Operating as normal. And this is a local clone that I've pulled down, built, same one in the wasmCloud repo, but I've extended its capabilities a little bit with actor-to-actor calls, and that's kind of what I want to demo here. So this is the echo actor written in Rust, and if I were to go ahead and just start my second actor, right, we'll see that this is the string we've been getting, and all of a sudden if we refresh, we start getting this magic number field populated, which is actually using the built-in Rust random number generator that comes with wasmCloud. So what we have is, HTTP request coming in, hitting our echo actor. Our echo actor is like, I need the winning lotto numbers, and only Go can do that. So it reaches out to our Go actor, gets the winning lotto numbers, and starts including it in our body. And then if we go to the point of killing this off, we get normal echo actor behavior again. And it's just one thing I wanted to show because it got me really excited because it allowed me to realize, like, oh, not only can my much smarter counterparts write this amazing Rust code, I can give them things like winning lotto numbers, and we can start making these like polyglot applications work nicer. And then I don't know if we wanted to dive into exactly what it looks like, but it's right here. Let's see. Yeah. So pretty much, for anyone that's interested, right? It's the exact same echo actor that wash, new actor generates, except that when we build when we use the wash gen on a custom Smithy file like this, right? All we do is we say, hey, we want to be able to talk actor to actor, and we want to be able to get a number, and we want to return our winning lotto numbers, right? And then it generates, I'm not a Rust guy. It generates all this, which someone can talk to a little better than me. But what that gives us is, now we could actually say, hey, go to our magic number actor, which this is the key to our Go actor. If you were to do, wash, whatever it is that shows the information about the actor, this would be the module key. So we tell our echo handler, or echo actor, go out, go to that magic actor and get us a number, and it comes back, we stick it there, and if not, we just give it a common response. So the reason I'm sharing this is because the real world problem I had was I was writing something a few weeks ago and got to the point where Go can't really use its JSON library yet in WebAssembly because of the imports it brings in. But I played with this, and what I got to do is I was able to send a blob to a Rust actor, and it unmarshaled all the data, stuck it into a Smithy type object. What do we call them? Smithy, whatever. And then the Go was actually able to get that back on the wire and iterate on it, which was very cool because it kind of got me around my inability to unmarshal JSON. So yeah, that's kind of my demo for the day. The side demo that you may or may not have noticed. Where's my little button to quit sharing screen? Oh, there it is. If you, I don't know if you saw that over here, my provider actually says HTTP server Go. And yes, I did get a provider written in Go working. And because Brooks would kill me if I didn't share it, here is kind of how they you know, I wouldn't call it a great benchmark, but a benchmark nonetheless. The Rust HTTP server actually was a little quicker, but you know, Go was quick enough for me. So yeah, that's exciting. But I was actually able to get that up and running. So that code will be shareable once I clean it up a lot. So yeah, that's it.
Okay, so Jordan, there were like 13 different really awesome things that you shared there. To start, so you were using a I remember you talking about this demo a little while ago, and like there was a limitation of Go WebAssembly, at least for now, that you could compensate with Rust, like using an actor-to-actor call,
Yeah.
which is what
So
you talked about. Oh yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
so a lot of those libraries that were pulling in like the JavaScript stuff that made them not standalone WebAssembly modules. What I found is, you know, because in our Smithy files, we can define like uh, structured objects. What I do is what I've been doing is if I'm taking in a blob object that I need to unmarshal, but I can't in Go because the JSON library brings in some dependencies that make it not able to run in wasmCloud. What I do is I just send that blob to a Rust actor via an actor call. I have it unmarshal the JSON, put it into a Smithy object, and return the Smithy object over the wire. And then at that point, because of the shared libraries that the Smithy file generates, I can actually pull out the fields in the newly marshaled object, which is was my, I won't call it a hack, but my little way around JSON objects. The thing it doesn't do is like unstructured data, right? My data would have to be structured. I can't just take any blob and be able to read it because the Smithy definition is defined.
Yeah, this is such a cool part of the demo, because I know that this specific use case, like the struct or like JSON marshaling, is kind of a temporary downside of using TinyGo like standalone WebAssembly. But this is really cool for the future of like a composable application with WebAssembly. You have something that Rust does really well, and you want to write most of your program in Go. So you write your program in Go and you just call out to a Rust module where its strengths are. I think this is exactly kind of the basis for part of what inspires the WebAssembly component model. It's really cool to see this actually working in a real scenario where there's a downside of one language that another language kind of works for.
Yeah, and had I thought about it, I would have actually just demoed that instead of lotto numbers, but just trying to get paid.
No, that's really cool. And I know that I kind of went back and forth with you on Slack, Jordan. Can you talk a little bit more about what you had to do to make the Go capability provider work? Like what kind of things you needed to do?
Yeah, so I won't take much or any credit for this because I'm pretty sure you and Kevin wrote most of it. I just filled out some to-dos, and what I found is, you know, the real challenge was like understanding like what the conversation looks like over the wire, right? The provider spins up, you know, that we can do easily, but you have to know like what type of messages, you know, to expect from, you know, wasmCloud host, and how to invoke it and how to sign the JWT and whatnot. So really most of the challenge was around, since I pretty much got given all the definitions for me, thank you, Brooks and Kevin, I just had to implement the JWT and the signing of it. Yeah, and then once you just understand like what fields correspond to, like, you know, this private key needs to be here, this public key needs to be here, and how in keys, you know, how to use their library to like pull a public key out of a seed key and whatnot. It was actually pretty straightforward. It's just where I think like wascap and a few other libraries give the Rust capability provider some like functionality just by importing the library. It all had to be custom rolled in Go. But now that I have a scaffolding, I can see what pieces can be extracted and put into a library if that's the best way to go. Kevin says something about a CFFI that goes above my head. So I don't really know what the best way forward is for that, but yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, it'd be really cool to see some of this stuff in like we can call it experimental too if you want, like a wascap Go or you know, the wasmbus Go, just kind of libraries that assist with poking around, because it would be great to use some Go libraries and a capability provider, and that's how it all starts.
Absolutely.
I think kind of monopolizing the question time, because it's too cool. Does anybody else have any questions or things they want to say about Jordan's demo?
I mean, I will say this. I had to ask a lot of questions, and of course I do them in private channels because I'm too embarrassed. But yeah, Kevin and Brooks helped me out a lot with this.
Kevin, you got your hand up.
Yeah, I finally managed to hit the right button for that. Yeah, I just wanted to comment on just how awesome this demo is. I mean, there's an amazing amount of stuff that needs to happen properly for a provider to talk securely to a wasmCloud host. And the fact that, you know, Jordan just got it working like it was no big deal, it's pretty awesome.
Thanks, Kevin.
I dropped it in the Zoom chat. I'm not sure if it, I don't know if the chat makes it to YouTube or whatever, but this is probably a good opportunity as the Go provider comes along. We should document some of the things that needed to be implemented in Go, since any provider language would need that. And I know that there's a whole lot of opinions of where providers will go, but wow, but pun not intended. But it would be, if we can document that, that'd be really good for additional language support.
Absolutely. And I know that the wascap Go and the wasmbus, I don't know, one of them I did already, but yeah, it's kind of the question of, is what does wasmCloud want to support long term, right? Is that I don't know.
Kevin, I think that's a you question when we think about, the future architecture stuff on wasmCloud, when, down the road with WASI and some of the other things that are coming down the pipe.
So what specifically are we looking for?
So specifically, like, I know I think I asked you something like, is it like a WasCap Go library, something wasmCloud would be looking to do? And I know you said something about you'd be more interested in like CFFIs, which I had to Google. So I don't, it's kind of like what route would we go? Like, what would I share to make it so people could just like use parts of this?
Yeah, so one of the plans is that when we do end up with like an SDK for building Go-based capability providers, we would include some way of accessing that in-keys functionality. It would be more than likely it would end up being some sort of wrapper around what Nats already has, because you and I had a private conversation where it's better to reuse the Nats Go library for in-keys than it is to try and use CFFI to go talk to ours in Rust, because it's essentially the same code. There were some advantages for us using the exact same key encoding mechanism that they use. But yeah, long term, we would just want to make it so that the developer experience is as easy for Go providers as it is for Rust providers. And hopefully, when we start getting into things in that, the rainbow scenario, when we have WASI providers, then the WASI capability providers will make language choice for the provider as irrelevant as it is for the actor. And then we can take advantage of the component model to have, let's say, a WebAssembly component that takes care of in-keys stuff, and nobody really cares how it implements it or whether it gets some of that functionality from the host. You just use that component and code your stuff against the WID interface, and this is all the utopia we're all looking for.
All right. Thank you, Jordan, for the great demo. We definitely will have some time at the end of the call. We can keep talking about our beautiful rainbow utopia future. But I want to make sure we have plenty of time for our next demo, which is Matt Wilkinson, one of our project maintainers of Wash, has a demo of Wash build, something he's been working on for a little bit. I don't know if you have sharing permissions. Liam, you may need to give it to
right now.
I'm only co-host today. I think Jordan is the host.
What?
Hold on.
Plot twist. It's not my fault.
I see Liam's new strategy of picking an audience member to be the host.
Just passing it
Delegate.
out.
I'm co-host now. I think I'm probably good.
I call it the Oprah option. You get host. You get host. You get host.
Yeah, this is gonna work. I'm gonna have to restart Zoom. I think I might have to restart Zoom. Hold on. I used to have this enabled. I'll be right back.
Number of days since Zoom asked for accessibility settings. 0.
Okay, I've returned. Hopefully it works now. Oh, I'm not a co-host anymore. Who's host now? There we go. All right. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about wash build, which is a new command in wash to streamline the building process of actors and the signing process of actors. This is mainly it's an improvement of developer experience, primarily for the new user, so they don't have to interact with lots of different tools such as make, which is the main thing we use right now. So to illustrate this, I'm going to start with just creating a new actor using wash new, and then seeing what the difference is when we start building and signing these actors. So to start off, we're going to go wash new actor. And we're just going to go with the Rust one and name it hello. And then I'm just going to open this up in VS Code. Let's switch screens. Okay, here we go. So we have this new project file or project folder. And you can see we have these two make files. This is the existing system we have. This is kind of the compiler make file, which has all the different commands that we run to build actors, to sign actors, and to push them. And then we kind of have this other make file, which is almost a config file, has the project name, has the version. But this is kind of not that intuitive to new users. They probably haven't used something like this if they're coming from, say, a JavaScript ecosystem or something with kind of more basic config files. So what we're going to do is delete both of these because we don't need them anymore. And then I'm going to pull in a new file called wasmCloud.toml. So this is our new config file that I've been working on. And then you can see it over here. It's this is kind of the minimal example of this, the minimum number of things you can use to then build an actor and sign it. So we have the language and the type, which is an actor, or that could be provider. And then we've got the name of the actor and the version. And then finally, you have kind of actor and provider specific configs. And you can also have language specific configs. But just for the minimal example, we have the actor, and then we can say what capability providers claims it needs. So that's the HTTP server in this case for the basic hello actor. So then once we've made this actor, we can open a new terminal. Uploads, there we go. And run wash build. And so we're gonna let this compile for a second. But basically what this will do is build the actor using, in this case, cargo, because it's a Rust actor. So it takes that Rust config and starts using cargo. In a Go actor's case, wash build would recognize its Go and run the correct compiler for that. And so then once this is finished compiling, it will immediately then sign the actor and spit it out in the build folder. This is what the exact same thing the make file did, but this is just a lot simpler and a lot easier for new users to understand. Run wash builds. This builds everything. You don't need to go into the make file or edit any kind of make file variables. So we'll let this finish compiling, and I'll show you that. And then the further step on this is to even more enhance this experience is to add this straight into pushing the actor to the registry. This isn't implemented yet, so I'm going to work on kind of on top of this. But for now, we have, it says done building actor, signs the actor, successfully signed. And then over here on the build, we have the built actor. I'm not running the registry right now, so we can't take a look at the actor, but this is the same actor you get from the make files that exist right now. But this is just a lot easier way to do it, a lot more user-friendly, understanding of, you have this config file, you have this wash tool that you just installed already, that builds it for you and you're ready to go. So yeah, that's a very quick look at the new wash build command. Does anybody have any questions?
I just gotta say, this is super slick. I know that part of the concern when we were looking at this was like config language choice, like JSON or TOML, or, people who work in JavaScript environments don't know TOML, but your minimal example is like, it is not hard to parse at all. You only have to specify, I guess if you have an actor with no claims, like 4 things, like the name of the actor and the version, and language, that stuff. This is really slick, and exactly what I was hoping for with wash build.
Yeah, great. Thanks. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing people actually use this. And then obviously for more advanced users, there's tons of other options people can use, but starting off with that basic examples can help new users a lot, I think.
Is the build code in the wash library or the wash CLI? I'm just wondering, like, if it's in the reusable part of the new crate.
Currently it's in wash CLI itself. I was going to move that out into the reusable library just so we can use that in other tools if needed.
Awesome.
I had a question and now I can't remember it. Oh, I think I didn't see it, but so the make file in your example that you're working with, the make file is not present anymore at all. Like no need for it.
This doesn't touch the make file at all. I'll show you again. I just deleted the make file straight up out of this folder. So yeah, we once this is finished, I need to finish adding the Go stuff, and there's all sorts of other kind of edge cases that need to be added. But yeah, once this is kind of into wash, we won't need the make files at all anymore.
Nice. I personally don't have an issue with makefiles. I kind of like them, but they do introduce issues. Sometimes, like the version of Make that ships on Mac is not the newest one, and installing Make on Windows is a huge pain. You gotta like go to a website that looks like it was made like 30 years ago and doesn't even feel real. So this is really cool to change. I guess it's not changing the amount of commands you have to go wash new make versus wash new wash build, but it's a lot nicer. Doesn't require JQ or make or anything like that. It's really cool.
Yeah, definitely. I think that the biggest thing from my perspective at least is just if you're a new user, say you don't use make in whatever current tool chain you're in, you just install one thing wash now instead of having to go install make if that's not existing on your computer already. And it just reduces that cognitive overhead of kind of, oh, I need make as well as wash. Like why do I need these two tools? So
that's really bad for people on Windows. I completely forgot. I was writing something on Windows because every once in a while I just try to make sure everything's still working. And when I did that, I went and without thinking, like typed make, and it's like make.exe not found, and I was like and then there's all this stuff that's in those files that was making me go like, crap. Well, then I have to like re-engineer this or install make, and so it's nice to have that starting point. But this is really cool to see. This is something I've been hoping to do and envisioning for a while. And so when you opened up the original RFC a couple months ago, I was like, I'm not the only one. So it's been really cool to see this. And Matt, in terms of stuff like this is a developer related question, do you want us to start reviewing that right now, or are you still working on it, or what would you like?
I don't think it's quite ready yet. I still need to finish. There's the Go actors. I was getting errors with them so far, so I need to kind of finish the compiling of that and get those to work. So not yet, but I'll move it. I think it's a draft PR right now, so I'll move it to a regular PR when it's ready to go. But yeah, does anybody have any more questions? Otherwise, I'll hand it back off to Brooks.
Yeah, thank you, Matt. That was a really awesome demo. Well, today I actually don't have anything for the community section for wasmCloud, only that we're excited to learn about the schedule for things like Wasm Day for KubeCon NA, and hope to see everybody there. Learning things. I guess there's no other conferences that I know of on the roadmap right now that like WebAssembly is waiting on. So it's really open floor, and I see that Taylor has his hand up. So Taylor, what you got?
Yeah, I was just gonna add another like shout out for the WASM Day this year. It is really like I've heard from some of the other people who are speaking. I don't know if the schedule's actually out, so too bad this is getting recorded and people know I'm leaking things early. But I just want to point out, like, I highly recommend like encouraging coworkers and friends and whatever to attend this. Like, the conference this year is going to be really cool. There is some really cool stuff that people are going to be showing off from all across the WASM space and tons of different companies. And I mean, it's really cool. So I saw some of the stuff that's coming in, and I'm like, this conference is going to be really like legit this year. So it always has been, but there's a lot of stuff that's coming in into the pipeline this year that people I think are really going to enjoy. So if you can attend, I'd highly recommend attending, even if it's virtually, because it's just really, really cool. All the stuff that people have been working on.
All right. Does anyone else have anything else that they'd like to talk about in the it can be wasmCloud related or just general WebAssembly community space? Open floor time for the call. All righty, then that was a pretty awesome community call. Got two really great demos and good discussion out of both of them. I will go ahead and stop recording, and everybody can hang out to their heart's desire. See you next week.